vote that's going to happen tonight is unprecedented. We're about to go down a path where the executive branch bonds $25 million over the will of the legislative branch. No council has supported this project. It has survived only with 2 tie-breaking votes of the mayor and a veto of its repeal. This has not been discussed publicly for years. The first mention of needing a new building never came until April 14th, 2015. Up until then, there was no hint that we needed a new building. Because of softening sales tax revenue, the administration is, in their words, waiting on initiatives where prudent. One of the projects they have delayed is the remodel of the northwest corner of City Hall on the ground floor. If you look into that space, you will see prime office space currently filled with junk and boxes. This remodel was budgeted for $100,000 and scheduled for this year. If the need is so urgent, why delay this project? Why would we delay a $100,000 project because it's prudent, but then go into debt $25 million to build more office space? It makes no sense. The administration is taking steps to manage with slower growth, in their words. Why in the world would we bond $25 million now? Where is the urgency? We plan to hire 6 new employees in 2017. It sounds like none of them will work in an administrative building. 75% of new employees will never work in an administrative building. There is no leasing problem. Let me repeat, there is no leasing problem. We lease one building, the city attorney building. The lease on that building is $120,000 a year. You don't spend $25 million to solve a $120,000 problem. The first year debt service on the new building is $1 million, enough to pay for the lease on that building for 9 years. What you haven't been told is that we have an option to purchase this building and right of first refusal. We can own that building today for $1.2 million. The first year of debt service on the new building would almost buy the city attorney building. It's interesting to note the city attorney loves this building, and it's in a perfect location across the street from City Hall and a block from Carnegie Town Hall. If leasing is a huge issue, why not just buy the building? It would make sense, and then we'd have no leased buildings in the entire city, and it would cost a lot less than $24 million. Leasing is not always a bad thing. Leasing in the short term gives you flexibility and options. The 2012 study, in fact, said leasing was the best option because of the low cost of office space and no capital outlay would be involved. We've heard various straw man arguments regarding leases. One of them goes, imagine if your forefathers leased City Hall for the last 80 years. No one is proposing that we lease for the next 80 years. We're given this false choice. Either go with this plan or lease for the next 80 years. The city leasing versus owning comparison is dishonest. It compares leasing 60,000 square feet on day one against building the 60,000 foot administrative building. Who in their right mind would lease 60,000 square feet on day one when you don't need most of that space for decades? When you do the comparison using the sane option, that is leasing space you need, leasing actually is far cheaper. Another straw man, costs are going up. Costs are going up on everything. If you bond this, other projects will be delayed and their costs will go up. If we're going to go forward with a project this big, shouldn't we have a long-range staffing plan in detail? If it exists, I haven't seen it. There have been no other viable options presented. We've been told no other building in the entire city will work. There have been no head-to-head comparisons, no cost-benefits analysis, nothing. There's no offsets, there's no cost savings. We aren't selling any buildings, we aren't consolidating anything. We were told we would move the Parks Department and utility billing to the new building. Moving utility billing makes no sense. The 2012 study recommended they don't move. It identified no need for them to collaborate with anyone. Their location is great, it's good parking, easy access, it's very convenient for their customers. Just go down and ask them. We're proposing to vacate a $500,000 building and turn it into storage. In this particular case, ceiling height actually does matter. It would be totally unworkable for storage for the event center. Even if it did work as storage, we'd stop using a $500,000 building as office space and turn it into a very expensive garage. How about the Parks Department building? It's located close to City Hall. It has a great location. It's worth $800,000. The Parks Department likes it. We're making good use of it. We'd clear that building out with no plan for how to use it in the future. Vacating 2 very good and very expensive buildings that are being used efficiently and using them to store our junk doesn't show a lot of business acumen. Let's talk about collaboration. We talk about moving parks to the new building with engineering so they can collaborate and the benefits of that. And moving engineering to the administrative building, we fracture engineering and planning who work together very closely. What are we accomplishing? We're fracturing 2 departments that work hand in hand and trading that for collaboration with the Parks Department. How are we better off? Let's talk about collaboration with the county. Why would we discuss buying toilet paper together to save money but then totally abandon the idea of collaborating on this? Our idea of collaboration is to tell the county, hey, we want to stop wasting money leasing, so we're building a new building. We didn't bring you in until after we designed it. And by the way, do you want to waste your money leasing our third floor? What kind of collaboration is that? The cost per square foot is very high as this amount of square footage allocated per employee, and I'm referring to finished square footage. Did anyone notice the straw man about the employees in the space known as the swamp totally disappeared? Maybe that's because they love it down there. Just go down and ask them. Let's talk about the lack of a plan and moving the goalposts. Up until a week ago, the plan was to move parks and utility billing. At the veto press conference, the mayor said no decisions have been made and we're working on it. Are we building a $25 million building without a concrete plan of how we'll even use it? Don't forget the debt service and the ongoing capital costs we'll have going forward if we build this. On a $25 million building, the capital improvements are not going to be cheap as the years go by. There is no retention or recruitment problem. We've debated ceiling heights and air quality, but in the end, people want to work for the city. Building new is the most expensive option. Just ask our finance director, who said this at the informational meeting on February 23rd, 2016, and I quote, "If you're looking and hinging a decision on is it going to pencil out a net savings to the city, I think clearly it's not if we have a new building," end quote. I want the citizens to know that this is not replacing City Hall. This is a new building in addition to City Hall. Many citizens believe this is a new City Hall. It is not. When they are told this is a new building in addition to City Hall, they are stunned. The era of big government is here. Remember, if you build it, they will come. Once we build this building, which will start mostly vacant, it will be filled with government employees. The taxpayers will have to pay for all of this. This will be the largest expansion of city government in my lifetime. The goal should not be to grow city government. But this proposal is also coming from those who believe that government buildings should cost 50% more than those in the private sector. This is what big government looks like. Some have talked about the dream of a government mall or corridor. Sorry, but that's a nightmare for me. In conclusion, this is a massive expansion of government. It shows no regard for the taxpayer or the citizens. I'm proud of our effort. The citizens want this repealed. They are behind us. Apparently, elected officials are not going to listen. The people are going to have to force this issue. We made the tough decision. We led, and we were overruled. I urge you to sign the petition, carry a petition, make them listen. Thank you.
Councilor, thank you. Folks, apologize. We don't do that here. Sorry, but thank you. Appreciate it. Councilor Staley.
The issue of our campaigns came up, our platform. And each of us here were elected. We each ran with different ideas that we presented to the public. And we, four of us, just came off the campaign trail. Hasn't been that like 4 months ago. And I need to say that as I was running, I pledged to the citizens that I was going to be working to put more money of that second penny towards fixing our streets, maintaining our streets. I also pledged personally that I was going to hold the line on debt. Now, would you put that up there, please? I have a chart that was prepared by Dave Bixler. He is our budget analyst, about the second penny. And as we get that into focus there, we're going to see that the debt service right now coming out of the second penny, which if we hearken back to the days of Loila Hunking, it was for streets initially implemented for that. Now we have 27% of that as it is now that we are spending, that we are obligating to debt service. I'm very happy about the 57% highways and streets, but I think the citizens of our community, if given the chance to weigh in on that, would want that 57% to be even a larger percentage. We have also been told we have a softening sales tax revenue coming in, and we have heard elements of caution from our finance director, Tracy Turbeck. I'm a cautious person in my own finances, so I think I was elected. I did get elected. I was preaching conservative restraint. So that's why I cast my vote the way I did for this last time around. This has been a contentious issue. We know that. We had the split before we came on board, the 4-4, 2 times with the tie happening with the mayor. And then we come around with this 5-3 thing going on. So it's been a divided issue. We have this petition drive going on right now, and I'm grateful to those people doing that. I've been participating in that. I've had 2 petition drives under my belt. I will tell you, it's a huge feat. And I know that tonight it's probably going to be a done deal that we're going to be past this part of it. But I have been rallying my fellow council members to be open to an advisory vote so that we would help these petitioners out, because they are in a time crunch. And I have severe concerns about how their efforts are going to be respected once they get the signatures. So I am hoping that we would be able to step up and say, you know, this is a big issue for our city. $24 million is no small thing. And I know there are people in our community that think we should be voting on more of these things. I will say we have the event center, and I said to the mayor that I appreciate that we got to vote on that. We have an event center, beautiful event center. We have the new aquatic center that we don't even know how we're going to handle that financially. So we've got things coming around the bend that we're going to have to deal with to be responsible for the citizens. So I think that, to me, the best thing would be to let the citizens weigh in on this. I think that the community would wrap their arms around that if we went that route. And that's my story.
Councilor Staley, thank you. Thank you for the comments. A roll call vote, please. Oh, wait, Councilor.
Could I just have clarification from
Sure.
Attorney Feifley as to what a no and a yes means?
Attorney Feifley, would you explain to the council if they were to vote yes, what that means, and if they vote no, what that means? Thank you. Council Vice Chair Kylie, that's a good idea. Thank you.
The pending motion is a motion to approve ordinance number 83-16. Essentially, you are doing a second vote on what was done the last time, where it would repeal the ordinance authorizing the sale and appropriation of sales tax revenue bonds to fund and construct the new city administration building. So a yes vote is in favor of a repeal, which would vote to override a veto, to put it in common nomenclature, and a no vote would be the opposite, in that you are voting against the repeal ordinance.
Councilors, everybody understand that?
Again, I'm sorry, Mayor, and it would take 6 yes votes to override the veto.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Council Vice Chair Kylie, thank you for that as well. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Staley,
Yes?
Erickson,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
No.
Kylie,
No.
Neitzer,
Yes.
Rolfing,
No.
Selberg,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
That has failed 5 to 3. Is that the way to say it, David? Council, that has failed 5 to 3. Item 37.
Item 37 is a second reading, an ordinance